Morning guys, how are we doing? Hope you're good. So Tuesday morning, we're back in the kitchen and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. We're getting ready to go and do some focus for the day to get this in the right place. So something that got me thinking last year, I don't know if you saw it, there was this viral hashtag thing, the 10-year challenge, and where we had come from 10 years ago. Now, I think later on in the week I'm going to talk about maybe how you can deal with the change and the change of mindset from 10 years ago. But what I want you to think about a little bit more today is thinking a little bit more about your future and the next 10 years ahead of you. Now, 10 years is a long time away. But if you think about that 10-year challenge when you did that 10 years ago and where you were and how you've changed, and think how much you're going to change and what the direction that you're going to be in the future is going to go. And then think about how you are living your life right now. So think about everything that you're doing in today's world. All right, 10 years ago, I was 30 years old. I was a Royal Marine Commando, physical trainer. I was literally just finishing my junior command course. I was just finishing my corporal's course. I just finished my physical training course, which was like 6-7 months long. It's probably, in fact, 8 months it worked out long. I was living in Plymouth, which is on the other side of the country for me now. And my life was very, very different. My attitude was different. My health was different. My mindset was different. And then I fast forward to now, to 10 years today. And I look at my life and the way it is now, and I can't ever believe that I lived in that chapter, in that era, you know, where I did all of that stuff, where I was constantly out soldiering, training recruits, living in a different city, living in a different house, married to another woman. Like, Alba wasn't even here. And I had no idea about the journey that was going to go on over the next 10 years. And when I look at my 30s, there's a lot of hardships in my 30s because I made a lot of bad decisions. Not a lot of decisions that would benefit my future. Whereas now, I'm 40 now, and where I am right now is that I know that the next 10 years for me are the most important 10 years of my life. And I say that in terms of making sure that I'm going to be bringing up my children as best as I can. I'm going to making sure that my time is available to them. So it's making sure that I have time to be able to help them in their journeys. It's to the next 10 years is about building up my business and what I want to achieve. It's about making sure I'm maintaining my health so that I'm going to be around here for literally as long as possible, making sure that my mental state of mind is in bang on in the right place. I've got goals, big aspirational goals that I want to achieve by the time I'm 50. So when I turn 50, I want to be here, here and here. Okay, so they're things that I have only told my partner. They're not things that I want to share. They're just things that in my head I want to try and achieve by the time I'm 50. And this is where that vision comes in, where we have vision about our future. But the way that you're living your life now, does that dictate the future that you are heading towards? So if you're eating shit, if you're constantly ignoring yourself, if you're constantly like not prioritising yourself, burning yourself out of work, okay, raising the blood pressure, all of these things that are going to affect and contribute to the downfall in the next 10 years. Because you're not getting any younger. We're not talking about going from being 18 years old to 28 years old or 28 to 38. We're going from like a serious age where we're hitting the 40s. And I'm looking at 50. Some of you might be 45, looking at 55. But there's going to be massive changes ahead. And unless you are putting in the pillars, the foundations of making sure that we're getting it right now, okay, then that 10 years is going to look pretty bleak. And I tell you why, because you will end up procrastinating continuously over and over again. You would keep saying, I've got time, I'll start tomorrow, we'll start Monday, I'll start when I'm ready, I'm going through a hard time. You know, all the bullshit excuses that we come up with. You know, I often look for inspiration, and I look at inspiration from a friend of mine who's Mark Ormerod. He's an ex-Royal Marine, and he's only got one limb, he's got one arm. And then when he come back from Afghanistan, you know, he nearly died. He had one arm, and the guy trains every single day. He does jiu-jitsu. He's an Olympic athlete, a Paralympic athlete. And his thirst for life is huge. You know, 10 years ago, it fucking wouldn't have been. Okay, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been. When he had all of his limbs blown off, once he stood on an IED, he probably thought that his life was over. And yet he turned things around and created this amazing life. Whereas I look at other people right now who telling me that they have going through a hard time, or that the missus is breaking up with them, or that you know, they got a calf strain, or they got a shoulder that's sore so they can't do anything. You know, all of the excuses that people come up with, okay, there isn't any. Because actually this is not a role rehearsal of our life. We don't get, this is not a practice. We're not here practicing so that when we die we come back and we can rectify all those mistakes. No. What happens is that we close our eyes, our heart stops beating, and we're fucking dead. Okay, and the realistic side of things is that in 20, 30 years after we've died, we'll probably be just a myth to people. So it's about creating, for me, a legacy over the next 10 years. And when I talk about a legacy, I talk about making sure that when you go, people will still talk about you generations ahead. You know, if you wrote a book about yourself, would it be an interesting read? So there's lots of factors that contribute to this, okay? You have to think about what you want to achieve in your life and how you're going to achieve it, because those next 10 years, whether you think it's going to be slow or not, it's going to come and it's going to pass and it's going to disappear. And all of the actions that you are not taking now, all of the things that you are not doing now, are going to initially show you exactly what your next 10 years is going to be like. So when you hit that 10 years, okay, you'll look back and we do the 10-year challenge again, and you'll go, well, fucking hell, I stayed the same. Or I've put on weight, or my mobility is struggling, or I've got heart issues, I've got high cholesterol, I've got high blood pressure, I'm overweight. Okay, whatever that might be, whatever the thing it might be, you don't realise that the more you procrastinate, the more you make excuses, the more that you complain and do nothing, the more you are holding yourself back for the 10-year version of you, the 5-year version of you from here, the 1-year version from you here, the 1-week version from you here. And we're on our 3rd Tuesday, we're on our 3rd week of the new year. 3 weeks ago, the majority of the nation were buzzing, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. But yet we don't attend to the important things that allow us to build up our life. Routine, structure, habits, okay? Planning, goal setting, implementation, sustainability, discipline, courage, all of the things that go with it. We just let everything consume us. You know, in the Brotherhood, on Sunday I was talking to the guys about discipline when it comes to just eating the nibbles, the shit, everything else is going around them, and that lack of control. But that lack of control just implements in everything in your life. If you can't get something simple right, such as not eating shit or drinking Coke or drinking too much booze, how on earth can we concentrate in other aspects of our life? So for me, the fitness, the health, the well-being comes once we square this away. When we get our head right, when we get this in the right place, and you have that self-belief in yourself, and you have that confidence to take the next step, and you have the ability to be yourself, and the ability to create the best version of you, create the fire back in the belly, so that you can actually live the life that you want to and be in the place you want to be in 10 years. So, you know, always having in the back of mind your 10-year transformation. Where the fuck are you going to be in 10 years? Where are you going to be in 10 years? And if your actions right now are not backing you up, then you need to start changing that, guys. All right, so I'm going to leave you on that. It's worth thinking about. You know, I think it's worth thinking about if you come back. if you were to write a book about yourself at the end of your life, how would that book read? Okay, would it be interesting? Would it be for the facts? Would it be for the positivity and inspiration? Would it be just full of excuses? Excuses. All right, so listen, have a great day, and I'll catch you all real soon.